This is our reparations project. I'm Sydney.
And I'm Susan.
So this right here is a photo obtained from the Coates article, and it depicts how in the 1930s through the 1960s, blacks weren't allowed access to a legitimate home mortgage market, and whites even went to extreme measures from restricting rules to bombings to keep neighborhoods exclusively white, keeping segregation intact. And a system of maps were set up rating homes and communities on their perceived stability, and this process was called redlining.
If a neighborhood was rated A and primarily white, it was seen as a stable neighborhood and marked as green. Unstable or undesirable neighborhoods were rated D, with the majority of the population in those areas being black. They were marked red and denied access to loans or investments, preventing them from repairing or making improvements to their homes, ensuring the green areas would have nicer homes, while the red zones would be deteriorating and losing value.
So the next topic at hand is FHA loans, which are Federal Housing Administration loans and slush funds. So in Chicago and across the country, whites looking to achieve the American dream had access to a legitimate credit system backed by the government, while blacks were the object of a hunt that greedy white lenders would use. And in this hunt, whites would take the blacks' money for fun because they knew that the income wages that blacks were getting were so minor that over time, if they overcharged them, the blacks would fall into debt, which then caused them to get evicted from their houses because they couldn't pay. This eviction gave whites excessive money by tricking the blacks into buying or leasing their houses and then kicking them out and then taking the money that the blacks owed them, which then further put the blacks into debt.
Similar to the loan systems, blacks were often ineligible for programs meant to help, but these programs only ended up being an advantage to whites. Social Security was supposed to give insurance to domestic and farm workers for old age and unemployment, but 70 to 80% of blacks weren't able to get Social Security. Along the same lines, the GI Bill was set up to help veterans coming home get insurance and affordable housing. But when black veterans tried to collect, they would be told they didn't count and wouldn't be able to get any help or loans from the government for their service. In conclusion, given these disadvantages forced upon blacks in the 20th century, America should be held accountable for their past actions and pay reparations to blacks affected by those actions. The reparations wouldn't be about just giving the black community money, but would be a show of America being mature enough to admit and own up to their mistakes and apologizing to those hurt by the discrimination.